is how to make bulleted lists that sizzle. Bulleted lists are so important because they focus your reader's attention on that area of the page or the screen where it's going to be really worth their while to focus. So that means whatever you're drawing their attention to has to be particularly well crafted. The first tip then is to make sure that you are visually emphasizing the right information. In this brief excerpt here, you'll see that there are actually two lists. So we have a vertical list in the bulleted points here, listing the days of the week when we can get delivery service. And then we have another list that's actually buried in the paragraph down here, which tells us about the return policy and some of the guarantees that this product comes with. So when we look at the relative weight of these two lists in terms of sales benefits, we can see that the part that is highlighted is actually much more valuable for the reader to know about than just the list of delivery times. And yet the eye is drawn to that vertical list. I see this kind of thing happen all the time. So always ask yourself, if I have the bullets there, does that list contain the most important information on the page or screen? So I'm going to show you now a rewrite of this passage, and this actually takes us to our second tip, which is to capitalize each bulleted point. So here you can see that in the rewrite, the mention of the delivery service now just takes up the first sentence. And then we have a list of those higher priority benefits. And those benefits are presented in the vertical list, and each item starts with a capital. Shipment guarantee, 1 year of technical support. Where there's not a capital here, we have a number, a numeral starting a point, and that's another way of drawing the eye. The third tip for making your bulleted lists sizzle is to lead with verbs, because verbs give your writing much more energy and impact. So let's look at another simple example. Our eco-friendly alternative to garbage disposal results in, and then we have 3 benefits, each of which is presented as a noun phrase. Let's look at what happens if we rewrite that as verbs. Our eco-friendly alternative to garbage disposal enables you to slash your annual waste disposal costs by up to 10%, avoid maintenance costs, and ensure a cleaner, safer workspace. So what's interesting about this little rewrite is that not only do we have verbs in the bulleted points, which means that as our eye is drawn there, we're getting those really energetic hits of information, but also you notice that in order to make those bulleted list verbs, we actually have to reframe the intro to the list so that it is now speaking directly to the reader as you. So one change requires the other, and overall we have a much higher impact in terms of that bulleted list. When you are thinking about bulleted lists, always remember that graphic design is not something that just includes visuals, that the characters on the page, the punctuation you use, and certainly things like lists and tables all create this graphical appearance, and they have an impact on the reader as a result. And I like to say that once you have drawn the reader's eye to a part of the page, once you have attracted your reader's eye, you're really halfway there because you have their attention. And so I really encourage you to think about those bulleted lists and make each bullet